Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and happy Thanksgiving to all of my friends here in the USA. Today I am excited to be sharing this Yeti for Christmas card featuring the brand new stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and it is actually exclusive with any $100 purchase at Simon Says Stamp today on Thanksgiving. So super excited. We're going to start by building a background for our Yeti scene that I am doing today. I am absolutely addicted to the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders, especially the scene building ones, as I think they really make creating amazing scenes so easy. I am using the Little Village scene, and I actually run mine through with two of the backing sheets. I use those as kind of shims, and I run that through just with my platform in my Spellbinders die cutting machine. I'm using Bristol smooth cardstock so that I can use the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers for my cards today. Now, before I do anything, I am going to place my background in a MISTI, and I'm going to take my stamps that I want to use and stamp them right on the background with some Lawn Fawn Jellyfish no line coloring ink. Now, this image says, "Are you Yeti for Christmas?" which is super duper cute, but I actually love that this Yeti looks like he's holding on to something, and I want to take the words out of my sentiment. So I'm going to use a little masking paper, and I'm simply going to mask these out using the masking paper, ink up my image, and then stamp it on the background. So it's going to appear that this big giant Yeti is kind of coming up over the mountain into the village and kind of has his hand up on one of the houses. That is my goal with this scene building. I'm also stamping another Yeti right here in the front. I know he overlaps part of the village, but I thought it was really important to show you that once we add some color, you can hardly tell, and it just becomes part of the image. I had stamped this previously, and I made a ginormous blunder. I actually did all of this on Neenah smooth white cardstock instead of Bristol, and that is just not going to work with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, so I'm actually restamping it, but I think restamping it is the best thing I can do because I actually get a better impression the second time. So it all worked out in the end. We are using two of the Yetis from the stamp set, and then we will end up using the snowflakes and a sentiment as well. There's also a third Yeti and some darling little trees. So all kinds of good stuff. Look how cute that is. Okay, now for the magic of the scene building. I wanted to make sure I tried to hit anything that's going to be lighter first. And so we're going to kind of build from the bottom up. In this case, I left the sky to close to last. I think the only thing I did absolutely last was the little earmuffs on the Yeti, but I'm going to do this little lake running through the village. I want it to have an icy kind of look, and so I'm taking my markers. I have blue-gray, a little haze blue, and then a blender for the coloring of the lake. And this is very light, of course, and so that's what we're going to color first. And I'm going to try to hit anything that is this little icy lake before I move on to the next area of the design. Yes, this is a lot of coloring. The entire panel ends up being colored, but I really think it builds the most amazing little scene. You can definitely do this with any coloring medium that you like. If I had wanted to maybe use, let's say, Copic markers or some colored pencils, the Neenah cardstock probably would have been just fine. I like to start with my dark color, and then I blend it out with the lighter color, and then I'm blending out even further with the blender. And this ends up giving it a really, like I said, an icy look. That's definitely what I wanted it to appear like it's this little stream that runs through the village that's all iced over. And I'm just kind of going around my Yeti. He does cover up part of that icy lake. You can kind of see that here. So I want to fill in the little areas where he isn't stamped, and I won't be coloring him. But other than that, we're going to kind of leave it alone. I see another little space here. And then for the snow, so it's also very, very light, so I want to do that next. This is the Haze blue, the lighter blue color I used for the lake, and I'm going to try to hit any area I think that this goes. There may be some places I missed that I have to come back to a little bit later, but if I can get the majority of it now, that is awesome. And then I'm going to very quickly, I know I've sped the video up, but it is quick coloring where I'm just pulling that color out a little bit to give the snow a bit of shading. Now we need to find our next colors for our Yeti. We're going to use platinum brown and gray tint with the blender. So his face is going to be platinum, face and hands, pardon me, platinum brown and gray tint. And then the rest of the Yeti will be gray tint in a blender. And I'll also add a little kind of dot detail with the tip of my marker. You can see his eyes pop out there after I kind of color over him, but I will go back with a black jelly roll pen and add detail to the eyes as well. We're just going to add some great little blending and shading and all of that good stuff. I just think they're so cute. I love Yeti images, and so I love seeing this new one from Simon Says Stamp. And like I said, it is free with any $100 purchase today. There's also 30% off all Simon branded products at Simon Says Stamp for Thanksgiving today only with code PMPK44. I will list that in the description box down below. I would so appreciate it if you used my affiliate link, if you do some shopping here on Thanksgiving, maybe after your meal or whatever, you get to spend a little time picking up some crafty things that you have in your shopping cart or wish list. I think that is always fun. I know I've been doing a little bit of that this week as some of the Black Friday sales have started. I know you guys are going to be excited because I talked a lot about this during Stamptember, but I bought a scan and cut. I'm super, super excited. So I will have to try that out. Everyone who encouraged me to get one, thank you. And I will definitely be letting you know or asking for help, one or the other. The trees, I am using mid green and olive green, kind of my go-to, and not super blending that out. That is completely on purpose because I like how it makes it kind of look like they're snowy trees without a lot of extra work. And they're also a little bit more of an olive green color, but you're going to notice that this is a rainbow village and rainbow accessories on our cute little Yetis. So definitely don't be afraid to kind of mix those colors together. This Yeti is going to have a lime green and pink outfit, or accessories, I guess not really an outfit. So I did a little light green and yellow green for the brim of the hat and the pom-pom. I added some stripes to the brim of the hat, some little dots to the pom-pom to give it some texture. And then I treat pink a lot like I treat red. So you'll notice that I colored in all of the light parts of the Yeti. I even did the green part of the accessory before going in with peach pink and tracing out the scarf and the hat. And then I'm going to blend it with sugared almond pink. And once we have done that, I am going to add even more interest to the accessories. They're right here in the foreground. You guys know me. You know I have to do something to the scarf and the hat to give it a little bit more interest. So I actually took Carmine red and I'm going to do kind of like a little plaid. I wasn't super happy with just the Carmine red though. So I ended up going back with peach pink and kind of adding in some more plaid, and I really, really love it. So you guys have to tell me what you think as well. I think it really helps. I did take the Carmine red and I did a little polka dot on her. I'm thinking she's the little female Yeti. And so I did some little polka dots on her hat. And here's that peach pink, super fast, but I think it makes a huge difference. All right, it is time to color in some more trees and then start on the buildings. I will say this part was a bit time consuming. I know you guys are always asking me in real time. Just this next portion of coloring took me 30 minutes. My video camera does kind of keep track of that. And so I think altogether, the coloring for this card maybe took, I think, 46 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. That's total. There was also some drying time, obviously, at running the embossing folder or the paper through the embossing folder, stamping and embossing the sentiment and snowflakes. There was some dry time because I added gouache splatter for extra snow to my scene. So there are some little things that added to that. I would say overall, it probably took me about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. But worth it. I love scene cards. So here is my first little house. And like I said, I am doing a rainbow village. So you're going to see pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple buildings and houses in our village. I thought it would be really fun to just kind of make them all stand out. You could totally make them maybe blend into the background a little bit more if you did more of a neutral color palette. So there's lots of options. The windows gave me a little bit of trouble just because they're so teeny tiny at first. I actually really like them as we go on. This poor little building was my first one, and so that was a learning experience. But I ended up taking my yellow marker as we go. You'll notice that. And I just color a complete square of yellow over the windows, and then I color in the house. And then when I'm done, I go back with mid-brown and kind of trace out the window frame. Doesn't have to be perfect. I actually really like the kind of the imperfection of it all. And I didn't really love these windows. When I'm reaching up high, I actually have a scrap piece of paper up there that I'm cleaning the tip of my paper or tip of my marker off on. I end up liking this house, but it was definitely a little bit of work. So the roofs for all of the houses are deep brown and beige. And I'm going to go ahead and trace out a few of those. And really, as I am doing this, I notice like there's a little tree I missed. I will notice that periodically throughout that because there are lots of little trees, but it's kind of hard to see them in the moment. So I fill that in really quick. And then I do want to add color to all of these houses. So let's blend out the roofs first. And even though this took a while, I really tried to do quick coloring. And as we add more and more to this scene, I think it gets so cute. So you guys will have to drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you picked up today. If you did some shopping for yourself with that great 30% off at Simon Says Stamp, you'll have to let me know if you got the Yeti for Christmas stamp set for free. I love to hear what everybody is shopping for. So definitely let me know. I usually take this opportunity to kind of stock up on basics. Card bases from Simon Says Stamp are one of my favorites. Storage pockets, storage inserts, inks, cardstock, you know, all of that good stuff. And then there's usually one or two Simon Says Stamp products that I like to pick up as well. But this is a fantastic time to maybe pick up some of those things on your wish list. Oh, they're so cute. As I finish coloring, or get more color, I should say, on this, it really starts to come to life. I absolutely love it. Really, really fun. So even though this building is yellow, once I trace out the window frames with my deep brown marker, it shows up a lot better. I almost went green back there, but then I decided I thought purple. I'm glad I did purple. This is violet and light violet. The marker colors are listed across the top of the screen, as well as listed in the description down below here on this video, and they are also listed on my blog post. You can find a link to that in the description box below as well for easy reference. These are most of my favorite color combinations as well. I love them. I gave my yellow house a minute, and we're just going to trace out those windows. Let's go do the purple house. And I'm using a very light hand. I think if you would want a little more control, maybe just a fine tip black pen would be the way to go. Now we're going to do our bright green building or house. This is light green and yellow green. Again, these are the colors I used for the Yeti's outfit. And we're just going to do little yellow squares for the windows before we blend out with our lighter color. Look at our village, you guys. Isn't this fun? Imagine all of the things you can do. I also wanted to tip it so you could kind of see the embossing that goes through the Yeti, but I really do think once you add the texture to the Yeti, it's really hard to see some of that. And I was anxious to see the Yeti's face come to life, so I did take a jelly roll pen and add detail to the eyes, and then I on purpose flipped my panel around so I wouldn't drag my hand through it. And let's color in our other Yeti. This is gray tint in the blender with platinum brown and gray tint. For the hands and face. Little dot detail. This gives our Yeti some soft, fluffy texture, I think. I love a little soft, fluffy texture. I don't know about you. Now, I did save the earmuffs for very, very last. I don't even want the red to bleed into my sky, my winter sky. So we will save that for a minute. And we're gonna, sorry for my head in the way, which is totally making my camera not focus. Nicole, move your head. There we go. We're gonna color in our trees. And again, I think maybe I missed one. I'm trying to see if I missed. For some reason, I keep thinking I maybe missed another one here. Oh yeah, I did. It's right next to the house in the foreground, which I'll see once I start coloring in all those little buildings. I followed pretty much my same formula for this side. So kind of color in the roofs, and then we will start with the buildings. There's a church on this side. I love the tall steeple there. I can't get over these embossing folders and all of the detail on them. I will definitely link to additional videos down below that I have done recently where I have colored in the background, because I think it's a really great technique and a fun way to use our embossing folders. Maybe something a little different, I guess I want to say. Different than normal. And here is that church. We're getting all of that color down. Now on this side, I'm filling in, I think the only color I repeated was the limey green. The church is going to be light blue. The house in the foreground will end up being blue. And then the house in the back that the Yeti has his paw on, that is going to be pink. And I've started coloring in that one. I got smarter. I'm trying to do more assembly lines, so I'm just going through and wow, those church windows are messy, but that's okay because we're going to fix it all very soon. I'm making sure the tips of my markers are clean. So for this, I believe, and I am using some cobalt blue and light blue. This is kind of going to end up being a brighter blue color combination. Love that. And then I love the little church doors on the front. I missed a little window and I will go back and fix that on the church. Let's go ahead and do our windows on the house back here. Oh, I did add the window there. And these are kind of rounded. And so I want to definitely get that detail in. Quick coloring, you guys. And just like that, we almost have a village. So here is some deep blue and shadow mauve. It's almost a blue violet, I would call this. And then this one, it looked like and feels like there might be windows up in the roof. I don't know. I ended up not liking it, so I blended it out with brown, and we're going to pretend that if there were windows there, there's not now. You make it your own is what I say. All right, looks like we have just a couple things left, and then we're going to color in the sky, finish the earmuffs, and finishing details. Finishing details, while they're pretty simplistic on this card, make the finished design. And that's going to be what we add to the sky, because really most of what's going on in this card is in the bottom half of the landscape style A2 card. And so in the upper half, that's going to allow us to really fill it in a little bit and maybe kind of help draw the eye up. The Yeti does have a little bit of height, which does help, but this is a great place for our sentiment, and then a great place for some little snowflakes that add to our scene. Alrighty, there is our sweet scene. For the sky, we're going to grab some deep blue and haze blue and blend it out a little bit. And then I have found I like to just kind of take either a water brush pen or a paintbrush dipped in water, and I blend that out the rest of the way. I probably need to grab my paintbrush. Let's go ahead and just get this whole line of color laid down and pull up the, actually I lied, it's deep blue and blue gray are the two colors I used here, and then we're going to use some water. So I'm just going to kind of gently trace around our images, just on this little horizon line and around the Yeti. And then we'll pull the color up with a paintbrush. Now I'm going to have a little dry time for this. You can also hit it with a heat tool if you want to. You can do whatever works best for you. I actually just walked away and let mine air dry. That's usually what I prefer to do there. But definitely whatever feels best for you. We're just going to kind of grab some of that ink and pull it out. I'm going to have to grab an acrylic block and kind of make a paint palette and add a little more color here and there. I kind of want it to look like this stormy, wintry night sky, and these Yetis are out playing, these oversized Yetis are out playing in this little village. I just scribbled a little bit more deep blue on my acrylic block, and then I'm picking it up with my paintbrush and adding a little bit more to the sky. And I'm going to keep working at that a little bit, kind of get it how I want it, and then we will let this completely air dry. And I'm going to grab, I usually grab like an old box or something like that, that's what I'm going to use today. If you have a splatter box, that's going to work as well. Just something to protect your work surface. And then I'm going to take a little permanent white gouache, and I'm going to water it down with a little bit of water. And then I take small paintbrushes and splatter that sky. So right now I can't color in the earmuffs until the sky completely dries. When it is dry, I am going to stamp my sentiment and snowflakes. That also probably should be done before splattering the sky with the snow. So I'm going to prep the surface, which is completely dry, with a powder tool. We're going to use both the large and small snowflake from the set. I'm going to stamp the large snowflake once, the small one twice, and then I decided to use Yeti or Not It's Christmas. I thought that was fun. There's also Merry Christmas, Cozy Wishes, Holiday Greetings, and then of course the Yeti that I removed the sentiment from says, "Are you Yeti for Christmas?" which I love. And by the way, you guys, I am not Yeti for Christmas at all. I have not bought anything. That's not true. I bought 2 small things for my 2 oldest kids. Everyone else, nothing. So I better get busy. I love the sentiment. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching a scene come together. It's one of my favorite things, just the layers that it takes. And this is a completely 1-layer card. Believe it or not, completely 1 layer. You can't get much better than that. It's going to mail beautifully. That's one of my very favorite things. I thought I needed another snowflake over here. We need to balance it out. So 1 more little snowflake before we grab our box for our splatter, and we have a little extra snow. Extra snow is my favorite thing. I know I've been doing it on all of my cards, but they're winter cards. They all need a lot of snow in my opinion. Even though I love snow on my cards, it's not my favorite thing. I love like looking at it. If I can stay home and not have to be out in it, I love it. But if I have to drive in it, not so much. Okay, I have my acrylic block with my watered down gouache. Now I'm just going to grab my paintbrushes and splatter. And honestly, I realized I hadn't colored in the earmuffs. I left this in because I thought it was funny. And I like when you guys see how things actually go for me. So let's use Carmine Red and Light Carmine. Do these cute little earmuffs. Just want to trace that out with my darker red color. And then I will go back with the darker red and add some little dot detail to make them look fuzzy. And then let's go back to our box. And this isn't my favorite box. My favorite boxes are the Simon Says stamp boxes, the low profile ones, but mine had stuff in it and I didn't want to empty it. So this was just an Amazon box. That's why it's getting used. Or Amazon or Target, I don't know. And I'm splattering snow all over. And I don't want it to be super heavy, so I'm trying to be really careful. It's just filling in all of that area nicely. Then I'm going to let this sit and completely dry. It will take a little bit. And then I came back later and added in some little heart accents. So we're going to have like a little heart coming from one of the chimneys, a couple of hearts up by the sentiment. That's going to add a nice little bit of height to the card. Plus it brings that little pop of red up. And then we're going to have a little heart on the chest of the Yeti. So just popping all these little hearts. These are my favorite little red hearts. You guys know I love them. And I know I told you I let the gouache dry, but it actually still is wet. I'm just living on the edge. I'm living dangerous here. but I will set this aside to completely dry before I place this panel on a white side fold card base. And that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video showcasing how to take an embossing folder and a stamp image and create a 1-layer scene card. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Simon Says stamp products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new card making video. Here is a big shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link below in the description. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Have a great time shopping the Simon Says stamp. 30% off all Simon branded product sale, and hopefully you get this new Yeti for Christmas stamp set free with your purchase today. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.